All right, this is my thought, fellas. Last year, when they finished the season against Baltimore, coming into the offseason as well, there was I think great confidence in Houston that C.J. Stroud was the dude.
The arrows pointed up.
You know, like, hey, you look at it, you got to have a quarterback to really win big in this league, and it's hard if you don't. And at that point, I think everybody in the organization, all fans thought, yes, the Texans have one. The Texans have one that can compete with anybody at the top, and especially in this conference, you got to have one. And there was great confidence. To hell with everybody that was brought in, but there was great confidence at the start of the season. We watched him go toe-to-toe against Joe Burrow. We got a dude. Like, this year he can go toe-to-toe with Lamar. He can go toe-to-toe with Mahomes, I believe. Hell, there were some of you telling me he was better than Josh Allen, Patrick Creighton, before the season started. Like, there was great belief that you had a dude. You still believe that right now? 713-572-4610, YouTube and Twitch. Now that this season is over, and now you're going into next season, do you still believe that the Houston Texans have one of those dudes at quarterback right now? Do you still have that same belief like you had last year?
I do. I believe they've got a guy. I believe they've got the dude that they can win a Super Bowl with. I believe they've got a dude that they can be a pass-first football team and win a Super Bowl with. I believe they've got a dude at a high level that he can win from the pocket often enough to win a Super Bowl. Yes, I do believe that they got a dude.
Right now, like right now, not growing into it. Right now, they've got a dude that can go and compete and play toe-to-toe with these other quarterbacks they have.
I still believe in C.J. Stroud, yes. The only part of C.J. Stroud, I think it's less of a I've flipped on it and more about, hey, we just know a little bit more about the guy. Like I really question CJ's level of alpha. I really question CJ's level of leadership.
That has shifted from last year?
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. I don't know that it's shifted as much of we've just seen a larger sample size and now we know more. I don't know that anybody was ever walking around going, boy, this guy's just the absolute, alpha. This dude is just the, he's the end-all, be-all. I think it's to me it's obvious right now that you've got to, when you make moves this year on the offensive side of the football, whether we're talking about offensive coordinator or we're talking about either guard or whatever you do with Laramie Tunsil, you absolutely have to bring in more guys that are like Joe Mixon and far fewer guys that are like Dalton Schultz and Laramie Tunsil.
I love Joe Mixon.
You like even Nico, like you have got to bring in at least one guy, if not two guys that are absolute alphas. We'll get in your ass, we'll set the standard, we'll change the game offensively and set the bar offensively on a daily basis. Like, they've got to find that guy. And I only say that to illustrate, like, I just don't think CJ's that guy. I don't think CJ's the hold guys accountable, getting that ass type of guy.
Now you're saying you don't have to be that to be a dude, right?
No, yeah, you don't have to be. Look, I don't
know if Joe is. Burrow, I don't know.
Well, yeah, you're right, because I don't know that Drew Brees was. I don't know. I don't know that Aaron Rodgers ever had that. He would do it, but I don't know that he ever had the ability.
No, Aaron would.
No, he would do it, but I just wonder how much of like the team would actually respond to it. Yeah. I played with one. Troy Aikman was a no nonsense, getting that ass. Didn't matter who you were. You guys are.
Seems like he's continued.
Yeah. They're like he didn't have a problem doing that. I think you look. Brady obviously didn't have a problem doing that. Peyton Manning, I don't think had a problem doing that. Now, Peyton also didn't need an offensive coordinator. He was the most cerebral quarterback I've ever seen play the game, and so. That obviously, allowed him to do and say some things and lead from a little different angle. But yeah, I think that the only question, I still think C.J. Stroud is that dude. I still think C.J. Stroud can win a Super Bowl here in Houston. I still think he's the franchise guy. My only question is more of, from a leadership perspective, Where's his ceiling?
Yeah, that's the part. And I want to get to Tyler presents fans more than anybody that I know at the station. So I do want to get to him, and I'm seeing some people here. Again, last year, right, I think there was almost 100% belief and confidence that you got one of the dudes.
Yeah, he was a top 5 quarterback.
Rookie of the year.
Like there was 100. Like not just
what Jaden Daniels is being talked about right now is what CJ was being talked about last year.
But again, it's what I'm saying. It ain't just like, oh man, we see the growth in it. It's next year.
Yeah.
We think he can. Hell, Greg Jennings had him as the MVP this year coming into the year. Do you still have that level of confidence that he is one of the dudes? And I'm seeing some people on the text line roll through. Preach, Clint. I don't know. A good quarterback can improve players around them, and he didn't. An average scared quarterback. Yes, they have a dude because that dude just learned that he can now run out of the pocket instead of just standing in the pocket. Someone texted, CJ cries too much to be an alpha. Someone said he's more Phillip Rivers.
Not a popular take, but I think it's a very, very fair.
Here, can I, and before we get to Tyler, I'll give my thoughts. Can I say I have shifted from, yeah, they got a dude, to, I think so? I think so. I'm not as confident that they got a dude as I was at the end of last season. Like some of the leadership stuff, it was some of the, damn, man, I didn't anticipate him falling apart at times with some of the adversity that hit. And I mean, like some of the on-field adversity, like it did to me seem that the protection, which was a major problem, and hindered him from being able to be completely who he wanted to be. But I was a bit surprised that it seemed to, at times as the year went on, just knock down his performance to where it affected him even when there weren't protection problems. So it just, I still think he is a guy, and I still think he's a franchise quarterback. It's just, it moved from a feeling of definite to I think so. I think he is a dude. I think he is somebody that of the coming years will be able to compete with Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen and Mahomes. I think he will be in that mix, right? And that's just a bit of the shift. All right, Tyler, you as I said, represent the fan thought. Are you as confident right now that CJ is the dude?
I would say short answer is yes. And I say that because when I'm pondering this question you've laid here before us about CJ Stroud, and I think back to that rookie year we just laid out, it was amazing. Rookie of the year honors, one of the best, if not the best rookie year we've seen from a quarterback, maybe until Jaden Daniels this season. I try to remember that all of that just vastly superseded anything any of us imagined or could have expected from the rookie QB in Houston. Like, I try to remind myself of that constantly because he outperformed the expectations in such a way that it made this year feel all the much worse. You know, it wasn't good no matter what he did his rookie year this year. The offense was not good. C.J. Stroud struggled. We all have eyeballs. We all saw that. But because of how freaking amazing last season was for Stroud, it makes it hurt that much more. It stings that much more. So I would say yes. Right now I feel relatively at the same level as far as confidence whenever it comes to C.J. Stroud after 2 years.
All right. And I see some people coming in from the text line. Clint, I agree with you. Give me CJ all day. They just need a few junkyard dogs. Someone texted Ron is trolling. He just wants people to talk bad about CJ. It's obvious he hates the Texans and the fans who believe in them. I guess the first thing I would say is your mama. And if she's no longer with us, I take that back.
In that case, your daddy.
I'll just take it back. And then also someone here on the text line, I don't feel as confident because of how things shifted with Deshaun Watson. I don't think that's fair. I mean, I'm not saying I don't think I'm not going to say I think that's fair, but I mean, hell, you can't help what you What you think? Yeah, listen, I mean, like I said, man, I think it's not definite. It's just not as I am shocked by the step back he took this season.
Well,
and even just the stuff that he controls. I am shocked of that. Some of it was out of control.
I mean, it is. I don't care how good you are or how good the previous year was. It is ridiculously difficult to play the position at a high level for 18 straight weeks. Any way you slice it, when things are perfect around you. And the reality of it is, the more we learn about what was going on in that building, whether it's the reported, friction between Bobby Slowick and C.J. Stroud, or it's the inability of this offensive line to protect him, or it's the injuries at the O-line, or the injuries at the wide receiver position. Any way you slice it, we've seen guys continue to play well through those types of hard times, no doubt about it. But that is significantly more difficult to deal with than, the teams that have most of their pieces. The offensive play caller's one of the best in the game, and they're working on situational football start to finish, been in the same offense for 6-7 years. This was a rough patch for C.J. Stroud, no doubt about it. But I still think, from a talent perspective, from a processing perspective, I think he's a dude you can win a Super Bowl with, and he's a dude that I think you can win a Super Bowl with.
Yeah, that's a good point. Not just riding in the passenger seat. Someone texted in, CJ just needs to mature. He was a little bit too full of himself going into the season, and he got his reality check this year. You buy into any of that?
Absolutely.
You do?
Absolutely. We talked about it. It's not just CJ, but yes, yeah. I mean, I think CJ's out here on podcasts talking trash to people in the division like that. Like, that's
weak ass Cowboys.
You didn't love that.
No, I hate it. I hate it. I mean, I absolutely hate it. And I wonder if he'll be out doing those things this weekend. I mean, this week coming.
There's already been some word. My man said he declined the Pro Bowl invitation to put his head down and get to work.
Well, I mean, okay, then that's.
And I guess clearly maybe he felt like maybe he needs to change.
Well, regardless of what, I mean, he's got to live his life and do his thing, so it's not on his radar. But as you look at just that reality, is all of a sudden things got real. Your OC's fired. You're trying to find a guy. Guys got injured. You didn't have as good a year. Are you going to be on Radio Row talking trash to the Colts again this year in the Super Bowl? Are you or is it put my nose down and it's time to grind? Well, it was time to grind last year as well, right? We've heard reports coming out, or not reports, but we heard Joe Mixon talking about, maybe early in the season it was more about stats. You got receivers talking about wanting, so many touchdowns and wanting 1,100 yards and this and that. Like, the way you had that rookie year, the way you had the 2023 year was Coach asked to do. Now all of a sudden you got a bunch of guys that have goals and they want to talk about it, they want to voice them, and they got stats they want to reach, and they're talking trash on Radio Row. Well, see if that continues after a rough season. We'll see.